Hi, so for this experiment, I'm going to be making thickened dye gel. Haven't done it before, so this is a learn with me kind of video. So most thickened dyes use sodium alginate because it thickens even in cold water. We're using cornstarch. I'm not measuring because I never measure anything. I eyeball it. But just about maybe tablespoon and a half, or one, yeah, something like that. Just, I mean, there's 2 scoops of a plastic spoon, so see if that will work. So what we're going to do, I'm kind of using the same thought process as I would do homemade gravy. I always use cornstarch when I do my homemade gravies. And it's a long-standing family joke because my very first homemade gravy, I forgot to cook. I only added cornstarch to the turkey drippings. And so now, especially my brother-in-law, will not ever let me live that down. So that is now a long-standing joke. So here we are again, experimenting with gravy. So I'm not going to cook this one, but on purpose, because what I'm going to do is add boiled water instead. So we're going to mix the cornstarch with the dye, because cornstarch should always be mixed with cold liquid before it comes to a boil, or else it doesn't work. So mixing it with the dye, it actually makes it thick right there. There we go. Now I'm going to add boiled water from my kettle. You can probably see the heat coming right off it. And let's see if this is enough to create a gravy texture. Oh, look at that runoff. Hey, this looks like fake blood. All right, so this is working. I am down for this. Now, what I want to do is create a marbled effect without shaving cream. That is my goal, because as much as I love shaving cream, the results of it, I don't like the smell of it. I don't like the smell that stays behind on the dyes. So look at that. So as that sits, that's gonna get thicker. I'm gonna get another color ready.
Yes, yes. Oh, wait, I'm blue.
So we're gonna do a red and green. Why not? Christmassy, right? I actually have not done any kind of traditional Christmas types stitches in a while. Look how thick that is. It stays right on the spoon. That's amazing. Wow. All right, so I'm gonna rinse that off so I can reuse it. So my box of cornstarch is only for dyeing, so I don't worry about any of the cross contaminations. You only want to use the stuff that you use for dyeing. Do not ever use it for food. So here we have the cornstarch. I'm going to use Kelly Green. I like Kelly green when I'm doing dark greens. I find I don't have dark green right now, or olive green, but emerald I find comes across a little too bright. So we're going to mix that up with the cornstarch. There we go. Okay, that's mixing up nice. I really hope this works. It looks like it's going to, so. Basically, I'm going to use it like an acrylic pour, like I did with the shaving cream. I hope that's still hot enough to thicken up. Oh yeah, it's looking good. It's a little more watery. Give it some time. This is my other stir stick that I use. So the red is a lot more sticky. So I may just mix up a little bit more of the slurry. And again, too much. I always have a habit of doing that. Too much, not enough, too much, not enough. Like I said with the long-standing family joke, I am not the greatest of gravy makers. So in some of the YouTube videos, if you want to check them out, they're really cool. They use things like spinographs to create these spin type designs with the thickened dye, as well as the flower dye that I'll be doing in another video. So hopefully this will be enough to thicken it up. Ah, that's better, yeah. So the hot water, the boiled water, even though it's not boiling, it still worked all right. These are plastic cups. I wouldn't recommend them for the microwave, but if you were to use glass jars, you could probably microwave the water if you need it a little bit hotter, want it a little bit thicker. You know what? Why don't we try that? I do have glass jars. So, like I said, this is an experiment, right? We're doing it together.
Hey! Mommy, stop from Steve. We're playing a game. Sorry.
All right, so we're gonna pour them in the glass jars. That is a nice thick, look at that, it leaves a really good residue. And we'll pour that in too. Because even though it worked out great as far as getting thick, it's still not quite paint thick. So we're just gonna pop these in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Because generally cornstarch gravies, they thicken while they're boiling on the stove. So microwave should help it come to a little bit of a boil, enough to thicken it up. I'm still very impressed with how well that first red came. All right, yep. Microwaving is the trick. So, see, we'll get that stirred up. I can show it to you. Have to scrape the edges. It started to cook on the edges. Nothing like cooked dye, right? Oh, this is so thick. This is awesome. Yeah, so microwaving helps. It is hot, so be careful. Use oven mitts if you need. So, my jar is hot, but look at that. That is a thickened gel. And it's just getting thicker as it's sitting here. So we'll pop the bread in for probably only 20 seconds. The 30 was almost a little too much. 20 seconds should do for the red. My green is still, oh, it's so thick. This is amazing.
No.
Alright. Yep, the red started. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize how loud the clinking would be. Okay, so 30 seconds I guess should have actually been better. It's not nearly as thick as the green. See, learning. Science. Another 10. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. My green is getting thicker and thicker, like it's full-on paint texture. Like house paint texture. All right. We're going to sacrifice another plastic spoon. There we go. This feels better. And as it sits, just like the green, it'll get thicker. So we're going to do this like a dye pour, paint pour. I'm going to first pour on the red and do the swirls green. There we go, look at that. That's nice and thick. That should work.
Oh yeah, right, I forgot.
My green is still a lot thicker, but I did use a lot more cornstarch in it, so that's kind of the way that's gonna go. But that's okay. So ready? I am first going to wet my fabric. So we don't want our fabric soaking wet for this. So I always just kind of dab it off onto a face cloth. There, that will soak up some of the water. Because I had found with the shaving cream that if you use fabric that is too wet, it doesn't go through. I don't really know why, but it doesn't. So we're gonna pour out the red first. Look at that, isn't that crazy? This could totally go for fake blood. So then we are going to wow. And then slurry it around. Get that design in there. I've always been a huge fan of paint pours. They have been, I don't know, mesmerizing to me. I just absolutely love them. So what we're gonna do now, basically pick a section that I want. We'll go with this one. We're gonna lay it on top. Push it down so that all contact is made, but not too much that you start to push the dye through, because you will lose it. It'll start to muddle on top. So you just want to make sure that the white is soaking the dye up. There we go. Usually I use gloves. Lately I've been kind of just jumping into these projects, not quite fully ready. So I've been forgetting to put the gloves on. So I'm getting a little bit of dye on my fingers. But you know what? This could be a fantastic alternative to those who don't want to use shaving cream for smelly sensitivity issues. It's very hot. Don't touch it, honey.
What is it?
It's the dye. I cooked it to make it thick so I can get these designs.
How cool.
It's cool, huh?
Can I blow it?
You can blow it if you want.
I want to see if it'll move. Yeah.
I'm going to do a second piece taking up some of that spot because I don't want to waste it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to again?
The video I'm recording.
Where?
I have the phone sitting on top so it can see.
Oh, the camera just...
Yeah. Sometimes he's curious about what I'm doing. Sometimes he doesn't care. He's a kid. Alright, so I have a second piece here. This is an antique white, so we'll see how that takes the red and the green. And we're going to lay this on this side, because I don't want to waste the dye. So again, we push it in. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That's coming out really nice. So the antique white is kind of altering the color a little bit. It's making it a little bit more red, where this one's a little bit more cherry red. So yes, if this works, this is something that I would do way more often than shaving cream. It might waste a little bit more dye, but I wouldn't have to fight with the smell, because I really don't like the smell. I can't get it out and it just drives me crazy. I'm not sure if I'll have to scrape it though. That's another unsure thing, so we'll take that one off. I have my cold water running, and we'll try it without scraping, see how that works. So because this is straight dye, look at that, it's black. We're gonna run it to the sink and rinse it right off. Now you want to do that as quick as possible so that it doesn't alter the color in any way and you don't blur your lines. But oh my goodness, you guys, this is going to be amazing. This looks fantastic. And yes, I just colored my hands red. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, before I do a full dark rinse, because it will come out lighter with the dark rinse, I just want to show you on video. But, holy cow. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? The lines are crisp. I didn't have to scrape. I just basically ran it from the tray. You saw me. Ran it from the tray to the sink of cold water. And it didn't alter in any way. You have a clear back, so that helps with ironing because then you're not ruining the front. Sometimes when I run the iron, it can kind of discolor it a little bit. I haven't figured out why yet, but that is gorgeous. That's amazing. I would want to stitch the Grinch on here. To me, that screams the Grinch. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with the next one. Have my cold water running. We're gonna peel her back and run it to the sink. Wow. Yeah, it works fantastic. So the antique white does not grab the color as well as the regular white. And it did leave a little white blotch. But that's all right. It still looks great. So again, I'm just going to show you before I do the final dark rinse. Dark rinse, I mean hot rinse, sorry. I do a hot rinse to make sure that it gets all the excess dye out. Look at that. Hey, that's pretty cool. We got a little white splotch. That's not the end of the world. It'll still make a really cute little stitch. That's fantastic. This is way better than I could have expected. So thank you very much. One more look at the really awesome one. Thanks for watching today, and hopefully I will have a lot more of these in the future. This is fantastic. Have a good day. Bye.